Welcome to the AEN Stories channel.
They say marriages don't collapse in one night. They fray at the edges, thread by thread, until the whole fabric comes apart in your hands. For me, it started on a Wednesday. Ordinary on the surface, unforgettable underneath. Mara used to kiss me when she came home from work. Always. It didn't matter if it was a quick peck on the cheek or something longer, there was always warmth in it. That night, she walked straight past me, dropped her keys in the bowl, and went upstairs. No kiss, no glance, just silence and the faint smell of perfume I didn't recognize. I sat on the couch, staring at the staircase like it had swallowed her whole. Told myself she was tired. Long day. Stress. That deep down, something in me knew. That wasn't stress. That was distance. The next day, the silence grew legs. Her phone was always face down now. Notifications silenced. Once, she left it on the kitchen counter when she went to the bathroom. The screen lit up with a flash, but instead of her normal cheerful wallpaper of us on vacation in Florida, it was blank black. Wallpaper changed. Why? Just mixing it up, she said when I asked. But Mara hated change. She still wore sweaters from college because they felt safe. That answer was a crack. Then came the showers. Longer, louder. Once, I swear I heard laughter through the running water, muffled, but not alone. When she came out, she claimed she was watching funny reels on her phone. But her eyes darted away too quickly. Her excuses stacked like bricks. Traffic when her office was 10 minutes away. Errands that never left grocery bags behind. Late meetings followed by her arriving home, her address I hadn't seen her wear to the office in years. The lies weren't big, not yet. But lies don't start big. They start small, just enough to test the weight of silence. The first real fracture came on a Thursday night. She said she was having dinner with a friend from work, Emily. I believed her. I even waved goodbye and told her to have fun. 2 hours later, scrolling my feed, I saw Emily posting pictures from Chicago to states away. I stared at the phone until my thumb hurt from gripping it. That was the first undeniable lie. I didn't confront her. Instead, I waited. When she got home, humming, cheeks flushed, she smelled of wine and smoke. I asked how dinner was. She smiled to Wyatt, to rehearsed. Good. Emily says hi. I nodded. Didn't let my face twitch. Inside, though, something in me shifted. A gear locked into place. That night, she fell asleep quickly. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my chest heavy. My mind spun through every possibility. Maybe she needed space. Maybe she was testing boundaries. Maybe it was nothing. But in my gut, I already knew. The proof came 2 days later. Saturday morning, sunlight spilling across the bed. She stepped into the shower, left her phone buzzing on the nightstand. I didn't plan to look. I swear I didn't. But when the screen lit up, a message preview burned itself into my eyes. Last night was perfect. Can't stop thinking about you. I froze. I didn't touch the phone. Didn't unlock it. I didn't need to. That single line told me everything. My chest burned, but my hands were steady. My heart wanted to scream. My head wanted to deny. Instead, I sat there in silence, memorizing the words until the screen went dark again. When she walked out of the bathroom wrapped in steam, she kissed me lightly on the forehead like nothing had happened. Her lips were cold. My skin burned where she touched me. That was the moment I understood Mara wasn't mine anymore. But I didn't rage. I didn't break dishes or shout accusations. Instead, something colder took root inside me. I became quiet, detached. My mind sharpened like a blade. If she thought I was blind, I would play along. If she thought she could build another life in the shadows, I'd learn to see in the dark. That night, I pulled an old notebook from the drawer and wrote the date. Then I started logging everything. What time she left, what time she came back, what she wore, what excuse she gave. Every inconsistency, every detail, every lie. Because betrayal isn't just about what someone does. It's about how long they believe they can get away with it. And I wasn't going to let her keep believing that. The first time I followed Mara, I felt ridiculous, like some jealous fool in a bad movie. But fools don't bring notebooks. Fools don't prepare. She told me she had a team dinner downtown, kissed me on the cheek, grabbed her coat, and left with her work tote bag. But I'd already checked the calendar on our shared app, no team dinner listed, so I waited 15 minutes, then slid behind the wheel of my car. I trailed her at a distance, careful not to get too close. Downtown traffic helped me blend in. She parked near a wine bar. I pulled into a spot across the street. She went inside alone, but 10 minutes later a man joined her, tall, well-dressed, confident in the way men are when they know they're wanted. He kissed her on the mouth before they even sat down, and she laughed. That same laugh I'd heard through the bathroom door, the one that cut through me sharper than any blade. I took pictures. My hands were steady. I felt nothing, not anger, not sadness, just confirmation. They stayed 2 hours. When they left, she clung to his arm like I never existed. I didn't follow further. I didn't need to. I had enough for my notebook. That night, she came home smelling faintly of wine and smoke, just like before. She kissed my forehead and asked about my evening. I said it was quiet. She smiled, relieved. I smiled back, empty. From that night on, I became to men. To her, I was the same predictable husband, quiet, steady, harmless. But in truth, I was a shadow, building a record of her betrayal piece by piece. Receipts from restaurants hidden in her purse. Hotel bookings I found in our joint account, labeled as conferences. Clothes she bought that she never wore around me. Every artifact went into a folder I named the autopsy, because that's what it was, the dissection of a marriage already dead. Only the corpse hadn't been buried yet. I tracked patterns: Mondays, late nights at work; Thursdays, yoga; weekends, errands that stretched 3 hours. I followed twice more. Both times, it was him. The same man from the wine bar. Once at a boutique hotel. Once at a cafe where they sat pressed together like teenagers in love. She laughed, glowed, leaned in. I hadn't seen that version of Mara in years. It hurt, yes, but it also clarified. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a lapse in judgment. This was a second life. The strangest part, she still played the wife at home. Dinner on the stove some nights. The occasional love you tossed my way like spare coins. But her eyes gave her away, always distant, always guarded, like I was furniture. She thought I was fading. She had no idea I was sharpening. One evening, while she was in the shower, I opened her laptop. She had left it logged in. Emails, hidden folder, a string of messages between her and him. Nick, that was his name. The words carved me open, but I forced myself to read. I can't stop thinking about you. He has no idea. It's like living with a ghost. When we're together, I finally feel alive again. Each line was a nail in the coffin, but I didn't slam the laptop shut. I copied them, printed them, dated them, filed them into the autopsy. That night, she curled up next to me in bed and whispered, "Good night, love." I whispered it back, my tone calm, even. But inside, I was writing her eulogy. Then came the conference. She claimed she was traveling 2 towns over for a leadership retreat. 3 days. No phones allowed during sessions. She even printed an itinerary color-coded. Neat, convincing. I kissed her goodbye, carried her suitcase to the trunk, waved as she drove off. Then I packed my own bag. I'd already called the hotel where she claimed she'd stay. No reservation under her name, but it tracked her credit card. She booked at a boutique guest house instead. I checked into a cheap motel across the street. Curtains closed, notebook ready. That night, I watched her car pull up, watched Nick step out of the passenger side, watched his hand press low against her back as they disappeared inside together. I sat in silence 4 hours, the glow of their window across the street staring back at me. My stomach twisted, but my mind was steady. This wasn't just an affair, it was an escape plan. For the next 2 days, I documented everything. The cafe breakfasts, the way she held his hand walking through the park, the way she glowed in his presence, brighter than she'd ever been with me. Every moment another nail in the coffin. When she finally came home, suitcase in hand, she was humming, radiant. She unpacked in front of me, smiled, even asked if he'd missed her. I kissed her forehead and said, "Of course." But inside, the decision was already made. This wasn't about saving a marriage anymore. This was about crafting her downfall with precision. That night, I sat at my desk, notebook open, folder spread across the table, dozens of pages, photos, receipts, screenshots, emails. It wasn't just evidence. It was a story. The story she wrote without knowing I was her archivist. And when the time came, I would tell it. Not to the world, not even to him, but to her. Because the cruelest punishment isn't exposure, it's clarity. And I was going to make her see. Friday night, the table was set, candles lit, her favorite risotto steaming on the plates, a bottle of red wine breathing beside two glasses. To Mara, it looked like reconciliation. To me, it was a stage. She came downstairs in a dress I hadn't seen her wear in years. The green one she'd worn when we first bought this house. She smiled nervously, almost hopeful, like she believed charm could erase the evidence. We sat across from each other, the silence between us heavier than the wine in our glasses. She tried small talk work, traffic, errands. I nodded, gave polite one-word answers. Inside, I counted down the minutes. At exactly 7:30, the doorbell rang. Her brow furrowed. "Are we expecting someone?" I stood, walked to the door, and opened it. Her sister stepped in first, then her parents, then two of our closest friends. Each of them carried a sealed envelope it hand-delivered earlier that week. Mara's face went pale. "What is this?" No one answered. They sat down, opened the envelopes, and one by one, photos and papers spilled onto the table. Receipts, hotel bookings, screenshots, emails, pictures of her and Nick at the wine bar, at the cafe, walking through the park like newlyweds. Her mother gasped. Her father clenched his jaw. Her sister whispered, "Oh my God." Mara's lips trembled. She looked at me as if she didn't recognize me. "Daniel, this is insane. You'll stop." My voice was steady, flat, final. "I'm not here to argue. I'm here to tell the truth. The truth you thought I'd never find. The truth they deserve to know." I slid one final envelope across the table. Inside, divorce papers, already signed. "This marriage is over," I said. "You don't own me anymore." Her hands shook as she reached for the papers. Her mascara streaked down her cheeks. For once, there were no lies left, just silence. And that silence was louder than any scream. She stormed out 20 minutes later, slamming the door so hard the glasses rattled. Her parents sat in stunned quiet. Our friends offered awkward pats on my shoulder. I stayed seated, sipping my wine, calm, steady, free. Because this wasn't revenge. This was release. The days that followed were strange. Quiet mornings, peaceful nights. My new apartment smelled of cardboard boxes and takeout. But it was mine. No shadows of her perfume. No laughter that wasn't meant for me. She texted a few times. Once begging. Once angry. Once promising change. I didn't respond. Because when someone breaks you that completely, their words are nothing but noise. The last time she showed up at my door, she looked smaller, fragile. She asked if I could just talk. 5 minutes, please. I let her finish. Then I said the only words that mattered. "You taught me the value of silence. And now that's all I have for you." I closed the door. For good. Here is the truth I learned. Betrayal doesn't roar. It whispers. It hides in the details you try not to notice. But if you listen closely, you hear it all. Mara thought she could erase me with lies. But I erased her with peace. Walking away wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. And it was the only way to become myself again. Thank you for listening to this story on End Stories. If you've made it this far, I hope it reminded you that silence can be louder than any scream. Don't forget to subscribe to End Stories. New stories drop every single day. And there's already plenty waiting for you to hear.